The static crackled through the car speakers, a low hum that seemed to vibrate in my chest. I was driving down an empty stretch of highway, the kind of road where the only light came from my headlights cutting through the darkness. It was late, too late, and I was alone. That's when I heard it, a voice, faint but clear, breaking through the static.
Hello? Is anyone out there? Please, I need help.
The voice was desperate, trembling. I froze for a second, my hands tightening on the steering wheel. I glanced at the radio, half expecting the signal to fade, but it didn't.
Please, if you can hear me, I'm trapped. I don't know where I am. There's something here with me.
My heart started pounding. This wasn't some prank call or a late-night radio show. This sounded real. Too real.
My car broke down. I thought I could walk for help, but I got lost. It's so dark. And there's something out here. I can hear it moving. Please, I don't know how much longer I can...
The voice cut off abruptly, replaced by that same low hum of static. I stared at the radio, my mind racing. What the hell was that? I reached for the dial, turning it slightly, hoping to find the station again, but there was nothing. Just silence. I kept driving, trying to shake the unease creeping up my spine. Maybe it was just my imagination. Maybe I was tired. But then, a few minutes later, the static returned, and so did the voice.
You're still there, aren't you? I can feel it. You're listening.
My blood ran cold. This wasn't right. This wasn't normal. I should have turned the radio off, but I couldn't. I was hooked.
I don't know if you can help me, but I need to tell someone. I need to tell someone what's out here. It's not human. It's not anything I've ever seen before.
The voice was shaking now, barely holding it together. I could hear the fear in every word.
It's tall, too tall, and it's watching me. I can see its eyes. They're glowing, like fire. Please, you have to believe me. I'm not crazy. I'm not...
The static surged, drowning out his voice. I slammed my hand on the dashboard, willing the signal to come back. When it did, the voice was different, calmer, almost amused.
You shouldn't have stopped. You shouldn't have listened.
My breath caught in my throat. What did he mean? I hadn't stopped. I was still driving. But then I realized the road ahead was empty. No other cars, no signs, just endless darkness.
It's too late now. It knows you're here. It's coming.
The radio cut out again, and this time it stayed silent. I gripped the wheel tighter, my knuckles white. My eyes darted to the rearview mirror, half expecting to see something behind me. But there was nothing. Just the empty road stretching out behind me. I kept driving, trying to convince myself it was just some sick joke. But the further I went, the more the road seemed to change. The trees lining the highway grew thicker, their branches twisting together like skeletal fingers. The air felt heavier, like it was pressing down on me. And then I saw it. Up ahead, just off the side of the road. A car, its hood crumpled, its headlights shattered. My stomach dropped. That had to be his car. The one from the radio. I slowed down, pulling over to the shoulder. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my ears. I didn't want to get out. I didn't want to see what was out there, but I had to know. I had to know if it was real. I stepped out of the car, the cold night air biting at my skin. The silence was deafening. No crickets, no wind, just nothing. I walked toward the wrecked car, my footsteps crunching on the gravel. The driver's side door was open, the interior dark and empty. That's when I heard it, a low guttural growl, coming from the trees. My body went rigid. I turned slowly, my eyes scanning the shadows. At first I didn't see anything, just darkness. But then, movement. Something shifting between the trees. Something big. My breath came in shallow gasps as I backed away, my eyes never leaving the trees. The growl grew louder, more menacing. And then I saw them. The eyes. Glowing like fire, just like he'd said. They were fixed on me, unblinking. I turned and ran, my feet pounding against the asphalt. I didn't look back. I couldn't. I just ran, my heart threatening to burst out of my chest. I reached my car and threw myself inside, slamming the door shut. My hands fumbled with the keys, trying to start the engine. The growl was closer now, right outside the car. I could feel it vibrating through the metal. The engine roared to life, and I slammed my foot on the gas, peeling out onto the road. I didn't care where I was going. I just had to get away. I drove for what felt like hours, my hands shaking on the wheel. The road seemed endless, the trees closing in on either side, and then, just as I thought I might be safe, the radio crackled to life again.
You can't outrun it, it's already inside.
My blood turned to ice. I glanced at the passenger seat, half expecting to see something sitting there, but it was empty. And then I felt it, a cold breath on the back of my neck. I froze, my eyes locked on the rearview mirror. Slowly I turned my head. The back seat was empty. But the feeling didn't go away. It was there, with me, in the car. I could feel it watching me, its presence suffocating. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My vision blurred, the road ahead twisting and warping, and then everything went black. When I woke up, I was still in the car, but the road was gone. The trees were gone. I was surrounded by darkness, the kind that swallows you whole. The radio was still on, the static louder than ever, and then the voice returned.
You shouldn't have stopped. You shouldn't have listened.
I tried to speak, to beg for help, but my voice was gone. The static grew louder, filling the car, filling my head, and then the eyes appeared again, glowing, watching, coming closer. I don't know how long I've been here. Time doesn't mean anything in this place, but I know one thing. It's still out there, and it's waiting for you. So if you're driving late at night and you hear a voice on the radio, don't stop, don't listen, just keep driving, because once it finds you, well, there's no escape.